Taylormade has kind of a big driver problem right now, but on the flip side to that, they are weirdly making up ground in putters. Let's talk. You see, this week at the RBC Canadian Open, Rory McIlroy moved into the new QI35 driver, which on the surface seems like a great thing for them, until he proceeded to miss the cut and had his second worst off the tee week in the last year. As a matter of fact, in the span of that time frame, he's only had 3 total weeks where he's actually lost strokes off the tee. Now, to be fair, he did gain half a shot in round 1, but for Rory, half a shot is not much considering how long he drives the golf ball, and on top of that, he lost over 2 shots in round 2. And look, some of that is on Rory, not the driver. But of course, this does come after the fact that both Scotty and Rory won their respective majors this year, both gaming last year's QI10. And on top of that, Colin Morikawa, who seemed very securely in a QI35, ended up going back to a QI10 just a few weeks ago. And unfortunately, on the women's side, it does not look much better. 3 of their biggest LPGA stars, Charlie Hull, Brooke Henderson, and Nelly Korda, all continue to game QI10s. Now, do I think the QI35 is a bad driver? No, I think it's a very unique design, and when you think about who it's trying to appeal to, a large group of golfers that do not have the most consistent strikes. They lower the center of gravity, trying to give people a larger area above the CG to essentially miss it. So instead of relying on ball speed and centered strikes to hit a long drive, you're now relying on more optimized vertical gear effect. And for amateurs, it's probably a good thing, but for pros who have very consistent strikes, they really don't need. So I think when you're trying to figure out why these guys and gals are gaming QI10, it's not necessarily because QI35 is bad. The design elements of QI10 are just more in line with drivers they're used to. So that's kind of my take on the drivers, and it's going to be up to Taylormade to decide how they're going to go about that in 2026. But putters is where they're weirdly making up a lot of ground, and I think it's worth covering. First, you got to start this week at the RBC Canadian Open, where Cameron Champ, who was previously a ping player, leads through 2 rounds as a free agent with a spider in the bag. And ironically enough, the last 3 RBC Canadian Opens have all been won using a spider, 2 of which were free agents. And speaking of free agents, there's surprisingly a lot who use Taylormade putters, like Brian Harmon, who just won with the new ZT. Justin Rose also just added a ZT. Then you've got Jason Day, Jake Knapp, and Dustin Johnson, who are all free agents currently gaming spiders. Not spiders, but 2 more free agents, Aaron Rai and Daniel Berger, are both gaming older Taylormade putters. I also think it's worth recognizing Scotty Scheffler did not start going on this insane tear until he switched to a spider. And while Rory too has certainly had his struggles on the greens, he did get the career Grand Slam with a spider in the bag. Then you also have the milled end of the spectrum, which is really the area I feel like nobody is talking about. 18 months ago, I made this video saying I think Logan Olson is going to be the next Scotty Cameron, and while he's not quite there yet, considering all of the prototypes he's made for guys like Hideki Matsuyama, the fact that there's an Olson putter in the bag of the current world #1 junior, and considering Thorbjorn Olsen dropped 61 in the first round this week with an Olsen in the bag, plus stuff like this very unique fitting kit he just brought out, which could extend into custom offsets and toe hangs, it starts to beg the question, is Taylormade becoming more of a putter company than a driver company? Let me know.